friends, welcome to yet another episode of the Power of Nine podcast. I'm your host, Eggert. Today's guest views preparing for retirement like chess strategy, understanding every piece on the financial board of life to be perfectly executed multiple steps ahead. I'm thrilled to share with you the journey of my friend, Kelly Pedersen. Kelly, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Aaron. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm super pumped to finally have you
Yeah.
on. It's about time.
Yeah, right. I'm
I
excited.
know. Yeah, me too. So before we dig in, will you please share with me your pronouns?
She, her.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
All right, got it. So I don't want to spend a ton of time in your childhood, but some of the things that you and I have talked about in the past it's just had such a profound effect on you now and how you approach business, how you approach relationships, how I think, kind of how I opened the understanding every piece on the financial trust chessboard, right?
Sure.
And so were you a farm girl?
Yes. Yes. I
Yeah.
grew up in Northwest Iowa. My parents had a family farm, and we grew up doing all the rock picking, bean walking, and everything of the sort with it. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, farm girl at heart.
How many, if you don't mind me asking, like how many acres did your family run, and then any animals or anything like that?
Yeah, sure. So we had about 2,000 acres, corn and beans, and we started with they had, some pigs when I was young, but I didn't get into that. But
Yeah.
we spent most of our summers bean walking, rock picking, and I think that's where I learned to manage a dollar because we were doing that second grade on, and we would take our paycheck at the end of the summer and drive out to Sioux Falls because that's where the shopping was, and
Yeah.
buy all of our school clothes with that money. So I didn't get to do anything fun like buy shoes or something fun, but we bought our school clothes. So that's where
Yeah.
you learn to manage your dollars.
And was that a product of intentionality around getting you to understand the value of a dollar from your parents' perspective, or was that just?
I think they needed help.
Yeah, that's what. So that was my. That was gonna. Yeah, that
Farm.
was gonna be the second part of that. Is like,
Yeah,
was it just part of their budgeting as a farm family? Is like, this is
absolutely.
how it works.
Yes, that's just how it worked. And we learned quickly. We were very self-sufficient kids. You it's a kind of survival of the fittest on the farm, right? But I wasn't the only one. All of my girlfriends, all of my guy friends, they all did that too. So
Oh,
it was the way of the world there.
wow, that's fascinating.
Mhm.
So it's been a while since we've had Melissa Johnston on the
Yeah.
podcast, who is also she also grew up on a farm.
Yep.
She also did bean walking. Uh,
Yeah.
in your own words, what is bean walking?
Well, as we got older, we had a bean buggy, but in the beginning, you walked rows of beans. You took 4 or 5 rows and you walked and you pulled the weeds, or if you were lucky, you had a hand sprayer and you sprayed the weeds. Yes.
Yeah,
Or you had a
yeah,
hoe, which was nice if you could do that. But even
right.
worse, that was the luxury job. I think the worst job was rock picking,
Oh,
um, where you would drive up and down the rows of the farm or of the bean field and cornfield, and you would pick up any rock over the size of a softball.
wow.
You would
Yeah,
run off the wagon, pick it up, run it back to the wagon, and you were just covered in dirt 8 to 5 every day.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
Times have changed. Times have
times have
changed. That
changed.
now,
Yes,
now,
but it
now
installs
everybody.
work ethic, and
Yeah.
I definitely learned very quickly. My dad had 3 girls, learned very quickly that that was not what I wanted my life's journey to be. So again, I think it shaped a lot of what I do, budgeting and figuring out how to maximize my dollar and work efficiently, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the okay, I was going to ask you what was some of your things that you participated in high school. So one of the things I always like to touch on this podcast is nature versus nurture. And
Okay.
so the nature versus nurture thing, how do you view nature versus nurture? Like the way that you're wired now as an
Mhm.
entrepreneur and the way that you guide other entrepreneurs and people that are focused on retirement, how do
Mhm.
you think nature versus nurture played a role in that?
Ooh, that's a really good question. My sisters, we ask each other all the time because I think us three girls are vastly different than our
Mm,
parents, but yet my parents were entrepreneurs. They owned their own farm. They ran their
mm,
own stuff. It was, I can't not say that that had something to do with,
right.
managing your own journey. And, but I think also for me, nurture or nature, I did a lot of the opposites as well, too. I saw the hard times that they did, and I did not want to go down that path. I wanted to forge my own way. So we were the first kids that went to college in our,
Mm,
if you go back in history for our family. So yeah, I think there's part nature, part nurture, but there's also, I think you learn from your parents of what not to do as well.
mm, mhm. Yeah, I think that's a big part of that. Did all of you sisters all go to college?
Yes. Yeah, my two
Yeah.
sisters went to Iowa State, and being the true youngest girl, I had to do something different. So I refused to go to Iowa State because we grew up in Iowa. So I
Yeah.
went to the University of Northern Iowa and went through their finance and accounting program there.
Yeah. Cool. What were
And
some
they
of
all
the
live
things?
here in Minnesota. So we all live 5 miles from each
Okay.
other. And one is
Good.
a CIO at Cargill, and the other one is a director of sales at a winery in California.
Oh, wow.
So not farm kids.
Yeah, I love that. Well, that
Yeah,
and you're all back in, or you're all here in Minnesota too. So
yeah,
that says a lot about your
yeah.
relationship.
It is.
What were some of your activities that you were in high school that kept you going outside of farming?
Sure. So academics, but I mean, really, I loved sports. So I played softball, volleyball. I ran track. I was terrible at it, but I ran it just to stay in shape.
Yeah.
But I think the one unique thing that everyone shakes their head at is I played basketball, but Iowa was the one of two last states to convert from 6-on-6 women's basketball to 5-on-5.
Wow.
And yeah, no one has heard it in Minnesota, but yeah, we played 6-on-6 women's basketball, which is basically 3-on-3 half court. So I was I was a forward. I only shot the ball. I would never guard anyone, and my guards
Wow.
were on the other half of the court. So it was interesting.
Weird.
I loved it because you only got two dribbles and you had to have a play. So again, shaping you strategy. I like organization and strategy, and it was a very fast paced game.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I never even heard that.
No one has.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
just, yeah, for being from Minnesota, but I think we're relatively the same age. And, I think that's not that long ago that
Oh
they
no,
made that
they
change.
they converted to 5-on-5 when I was a junior, so it was a vastly different game because you go from only having two dribbles to dribbling wherever, went over. And Oklahoma and Iowa were the last two states that had 6-on-6 women's basketball.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
So as you were in high school and you're preparing to go to college, going to UNI, what was it about finance that
yeah,
attracted you to that major? Why'd you
yeah.
go down that path?
Um, there's a few reasons. For one, I loved math. This is one thing I was awesome at. So I loved math. I loved my accounting classes, making things foot. It's organized. I like I like control and organization and things that flow strategically. It was one of those things. I went to bed at night as a little kid and thinking about, oh my gosh, if I could just make $80,000 a year, I could buy my mom and dad's house so they'd never have to worry again. Those types of things.
Mhm.
Now you look back and you're like, yeah, you couldn't have done that. But but
Yeah.
I think I looked it up in the guidance counselor's office, and it's like, oh, an accountant makes 80,000 a year. I can do
Oh,
that.
funny.
So yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
It's a culmination of things.
Yeah. Do you think how many kids did you graduate with in high school?
26.
Right. So
Yeah.
one of the things I experienced, I went to a big school. So I went to Forest Lake High School, and I felt like I was just a number because, the
Okay.
counselors would just have you kind of cycle in, and they didn't really spend that
Yeah.
much time with you. Like,
Sure.
they kind of almost like, I felt like they almost told me what I wanted to hear. They're like, all right, next. And it's almost
Check.
like take a number, right? Check the box. Did
Mhm.
you feel like because you were in a smaller school and there was a more finite amount of
Sure.
kids that you had a little bit more of a hands-on approach from a counselor standpoint?
You know, I think it can go both ways. Probably most schools were that way. We happen to be in a school where My guidance counselor was also my basketball coach. He was also my social studies teacher. He was also the I mean, you cross-pollinated, and maybe they
Right.
weren't the best at their jobs, but I
Right.
just happened to be pretty driven of figuring out what I wanted to do. I think because of the antithesis of I did not want to be stuck there on a farm, right? Because I saw
Yeah.
how hard it was for people.
Yeah. What was so we figured out that math or economics was probably some of your best classes. What were some of your worst classes?
English, definitely
English.
English, creative, anything creative. Like I was the kid that in second grade, I can vastly remember if you put that blank paper in front of me and it said like write a story, I would sweat. Like I would have a blank paper 15 minutes into it. But if you said, hey, let's have a pop quiz in math, let's do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So anything
That's
creative, I think that side of my brain is just pretty dark. Lights
all
off.
right. All right. That's all
Doesn't
good.
work.
That's all good. When you were in college, did you was it a pretty finite path of like once you got to college that you knew the 4 years what that was going to hold for you from an education standpoint, you were going down that path?
I think so. I mean, I took a little bit of a curve, but I was lucky enough to know which way I was going. So I went in thinking it was accounting, and I got into it a couple of accounting classes and took a corporate finance class, and that sealed the deal. So
Mm.
I loved economics and finance, and so I just ended up double majoring in those, and I had enough accounting hours to get a minor in accounting, and
Yeah.
took off from there. But I'm really glad I did, because my first job out of school then was at a large accounting firm here in Minneapolis. It was Larson Ellen Wisher way back when. Now it's
Mhm. Mhm.
CLA, but back then the investment group was inside the tax group, and so I ended up doing, even though I was there for investment and management and all of that, I ended up doing hundreds of tax return preparation. I didn't know how to do it. So I went to the U and I bought a book and I read it, and we prepared
Figured it out.
taxes.
Yeah, I love
Figured
it.
it out.
Um, so I'm going to get into your career journey now. After
Okay.
education, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to hear from a few of our community supporters, one of which is you and your firm. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for being a supporter of our community. And we're going to hear from a few of our supporters right now.
If you're anything like me, you know enough to be dangerous when it comes to finance, yet need some help when things are complicated. All-in-One Accounting provides the right financial expertise and leadership to align with your stage of growth. From outsourced accounting and bookkeeping to strategic financial planning, the team of accounting rock stars at All-in-One Accounting are passionate about positively impacting the lives of their clients. Check them out at allinOneaccounting.com. All-in-One Accounting, taking our clients from financial chaos to business clarity and beyond.
If you're an entrepreneur or married to one, your journey is complex. You want financial advice that impacts your whole net worth, including your business, not just stock market investments. You also want a partner that quarterbacks the relationships between the CPA, estate planner, banker, and other trusted advisors. That's where the team at eWealth Partners comes in. We love helping you and your spouse design a financial plan that aligns and empowers you. A plan that addresses your concerns, priorities, and goals tailored to reach your long-term vision. A long-term vision that is worth the pursuit today. Visit ewealthpartners.com to learn how they can help couples like you. eWealth Partners, holistic financial planning for entrepreneurs. Investment advisor services offered through AdvisorNet Wealth Management. eWealth Partners and AdvisorNet Wealth Management are not affiliated.
Regardless if you're a startup just figuring things out or a medium-sized organization with a full team, having a legal partner by your side is crucial. Seiler Law is fiercely loyal to their clients and are passionate about removing headaches and roadblocks that can pop up during the growth of your business. Whether you need general outside counsel, are planning a business transaction, or even need someone to help guide you through the estate planning process, the team at Seiler Law are the advocates for you. Visit seilerlaw.com to learn more. Seiler Law, where experience meets pragmatism.
All right, we're back with Kelly Pedersen. Let's dig into this career journey because so CLA or Larson at the time and
Yeah.
whatever.
Sure.
Did they? So I have a feeling, and I think I've talked about this with other guests in the past, is they just do a hell of a job of recruiting talent
Mhm.
at different colleges. Was that the case here?
Yeah, it was. And you and I had a really good accounting. Has a really, really good accounting a program there. It's teachers and accounting for some reason of the mix is that, but they recruited heavily out of UNI, and you'll find a lot of UNI alum up here in accounting world. But yeah, so I joined them right out of college. I think I don't know if I was even 22 yet.
Oh,
that
really?
time. Yeah.
How long did you spend there?
I was there 4 years. I got my CFP right the next year and my Series 7 and all of that. And was there for 4 years. And I love it now. I'm very happy I can look back and have the experience that we did all the tax returns, because it was not just individual tax returns. I ended up working on estate tax returns and trust tax returns. And I was able to learn and see from an investment perspective, when you put together an investment plan, how it really does come full circle and affect your tax return, your trusts, what estate planning does, and how you can really affect change. And so I'm really glad that I did it, but it just wasn't for me. And I happened to be at a golf tournament where one of my good girlfriends was golfing from Virchow Kraus, now Baker Tilly. This is how old I am. And she said, our tax group's separate than wealth management. And so I said, sign me up, and I jumped ship and went over to Virchow Kraus and started working there for a few years.
Was there what was the vibe there? What was the corporate did you feel like there was a difference in the corporate culture by working on a team that was independent of the tax group rather than working for one that fell underneath the tax group?
Yeah, I would say the company as a whole didn't feel that much different. I'd just say being in a different segmented group was a different vibe, because it was more concentrated time on investment strategy, financial planning, all of that. But it was great because I could still feed my geeky need for tax. I could walk down to the tax group and ask all the questions I needed to ask about the client. And so it was still great in that aspect.
Were you getting at this time when you were working there, were you getting was this about a time where you were getting the entrepreneurial bug where you're like, okay,
Yeah.
I don't know if this is for me. I think I can do this on my own.
Yeah, there was a very pivotal moment that the partner in charge of our group, which the group was only 3 or 4 people deep, he was let go for his own reasons, or various reasons. And it was just then, I think it was 28 or 29 years old at that point in time, that it was like the thumb was lifted off. There was this whole business of our group of clients that really needed some attention. And I finally realized that just by trial by fire, that was where I shined, is just taking the reins and doing it and getting going. And it was great. I finally realized, like, this is what I want to do, but I don't want to be beholden to someone else telling us how to do it. And the how was typically in firms, and it's not just them, but in most firms, it's how many assets are you bringing in? How much growth are you bringing in? It was all about growing your assets under management. And I just wanted to do it differently, to where I could actually spend time on the really important things that clients need, instead of just doing financial plans it felt like we were doing them just to keep them going long enough to get more assets, right? And so I just wanted to do it differently and make sure that clients had every single aspect of their financial life looked at, because they all integrate. I could get you 20% returns on your investment every single year. And if you're not watching out for the other areas, something will torpedo you and take you off course, and you could lose all that money anyways. So you have to look at everything. And I don't know how anybody does it the other way around, like looking at investments without looking at planning and estate planning. That's just befuddles me, but it's what really sparked us to do it this way. It takes a lot more time. It's a lot more intensive. It takes a lot more brain power, but I intentionally set it up this way, and it'll be slower growth, but that's fine. Our clients will reap the reward of that.
Yeah, it's good to keep the same clients too, right? To where you're building those deeper relationships. Did you feel like what was the time frame from when your boss got fired to when you were like, okay, time to go, and you left?
Less than a year.
Less than a year.
Less than a year. Yep. And then I had a 2-year non-compete and I honored that, but 2 years to the date, I started CAISSA. So 2009, right in the middle of, the Great Recession, I started a business and, yeah, and it was good because the rewarding thing about it is I went back to a lot of my clients because I had served my non-compete and they came with me because the people that I had left didn't have their financial plan updated or didn't get the attention that they needed during a really, really tough time.
Mhm.
And so that really did help propel the start of our business too.
I want to talk about what you do, but I also want to talk about what you did when you were sitting out the non-compete. I've had to sit out a non-compete, and it felt like I wanted to eat my arm off.
Yeah.
What did you do for 2 years?
I went to a broker dealer, which is a place that I knew I wouldn't, and I knew I wouldn't reside. Right. And I'm not saying that there's anything yay or nay about a broker dealer. It's just for me and how I'm wired. It wasn't a home for me. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot about what I didn't want to do in my business, about how to look at clients, how to treat them, how to look, across their portfolio and across everything. And so it was actually really good. It was more eye-opening again to say, okay, how do we want to set this up to where clients are completely taken care of and they aren't falling into that number or asset under management or moved around, and that they've got good care.
Yeah. What is tell me about the meaning of the name CAISSA.
Yeah. So CAISSA, I've always liked to use an analogy instead of saying, when people ask me what I do, instead of saying I'm a financial advisor, I feel like it can have a yucky connotation to it. So instead of saying that, I typically use an analogy of chess, in that, and you said a little bit of it at the beginning of just that we look at things, not that it's a game, but it is a strategy of, you have all these financial pieces on your board of life, and we have to know how they all work. And then we have to integrate them, and then we have to think 10 steps ahead. So it's very strategic, not like checkers would be tactical. We're going to move, we're going to move, we're going to move.
Yeah.
We're trying to think up strategies so that everything is well thought out. And CAISSA happens to be the Roman goddess of chess. So hence this way.
Yeah.
That's her. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. I was going to actually make a comment about that background.
Yeah.
So in the strategic side of things, and I think anybody who's listening to this is either interacted hands-on with someone that is a wealth manager or whatever. Like,
Sure.
what are some of the things that you really try to address that differentiates you from what other people do? Let's just call it, I'm using air quotes for people that are listening to this, for wealth managers.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple different differentiators, and it's very hard to place the value on this because a lot of people say it, but we actually we enact it. And the first part is called, we call it torpedo proofing people's retirement plan, and we will dive deep into every facet and do a deep analysis on it. We all have estate backgrounds, tax backgrounds. Couple of the people in our office came over from the Wells Fargo Private Client Group, and they're really, really good at estate planning. So the plans that we put out are plans that they would charge $30,000 to $50,000 for, and we do it as part of our offering. And so the torpedo proofing is ongoing. It never stops. We do it every single time we meet. We are constantly stress testing things. And I would say the other thing is as we put our portfolios together, to me, they really support our financial plan. So with the output of the financial plan drives exactly what we're going to do on the investment side of things. And from what our retirees tell us, they go through this process called the tranches of income. And so they can go through market environments that are as crazy as last year without having to worry, because what we've done is we've taken their financial plan and we've segregated all their withdrawals needs from now or from retirement to the end of their plan, and segregated their investments into 3 different, we call them tranches, short, mid, and long. And we mock up investments to be ready exactly at the same time that they need those withdrawal needs. And they all have different risk levels. And so we report that way. We give them performance by tranches. We tell them exactly where their money is going to come from, so they don't have to worry about markets and timing. So they know exactly what their portfolio means to them.
So I think people do on average a pretty horseshit job of managing their estate, if not doing anything, like having, I mean, I can't believe how many people don't even have a will. And so just that in general, but I think let's just talk about estate planning in general.
Okay.
So anybody, regardless of who they work with, how often should they review and edit, or at least do an overview of their overall estate plan?
Your overall estate plan, I'd probably say once every 3 years, but it's really hard for me to say don't look at it intermittently, because we keep having tax law changes. And these tax laws are changing the way we look at beneficiary designations. So I would, if I go back, and I don't want to get too geeky here, but if we go back to the Jobs and Reconciliation Act, they changed the way that we don't have stretch IRAs anymore. So we went through all of our clients and said, does it even make sense the way our beneficiary designations are lined up? Or should we just be saying the trust instead of naming children, because it doesn't matter anymore? So it makes it more efficient, makes it easier, et cetera. So, it's those things that maybe the client's looking at every couple of years, but your planner really should be on top of those things as soon as we have, like this year, we have in January, another new tax act come out. It's changing a lot of ERISA law.
So we, the last time I saw you in person was we were at an event we were at one of our Coalition9 Spark events, and the event was, I think you probably know where I'm going with this. The event was preparing for the 2023 economy. And I said hi to you. I think I gave you a quick hug, and I said, how's it going? And you're like, oh, I was just biting my tongue. There's so many things that I wanted to say. All right. So this is your chance.
Okay.
So good. So as we're preparing for the 2023 economy, all of these different things that are taking place from a tax standpoint, what is a couple of the things, or one or two things that are like, you've looked at these tax law changes and you're like, whoa, people need to know about this. What is a couple of those things that are just
still
like
coming
glaring?
out? I don't even have the full,
Really?
we don't even have the full verbiage of it yet. I mean, we have the verbiage, but we don't have some of the guidance of it yet. But some of the things that are changing is required distributions are changing. They're being scaled out to 75 now. So people may not have had to take a required distribution last year if they had like an inherited IRA. The IRS still hasn't written a letter on that. So if you have inherited something in the last year, you may not have to take that distribution. Required distributions, like I said, they came out with something new that the 529 plans might be able to be rolled into a Roth IRA. So there's a lot in there that is strategic that you can be doing within your planning.
Wow. Yeah, I think there's just so much, and
there's so much.
Is it like, I think from a political standpoint, it's so polarized, and there's so many different things that we're dealing with on that side of things. Is it because of that? I don't ever remember anyone saying, kind of even 5 years ago, 7 years ago, how drastic things change from year to year, or especially after an election. Like, is it normally like this, or because of social media and media I hear this stuff, or is this just we're in a new time?
I don't know what the pinpoint is. I mean, you can definitely feel that. I mean, we have a larger debt and deficit than we do. And a lot of this, if you look and peel back the onion a little bit, they're not being, nice and saying, hey, why don't you roll your 529 to a Roth? No, we want your taxes now. So there's a little bit of an ulterior motive for some of this. Right. But I don't know if it's a different time, but there's definitely a lot more to do, right? We have a lot of struggling. We have more debt. We have a struggling Social Security. We have a lot of things that we are butting heads instead of coming together and making good planning, good output. It's just, it's one end or the other, and the middle it doesn't get a lot of say or voice. So I think they push things through, and they don't even know sometimes what they've pushed through, and then they end up reverting them. And so for us, it is year to year that we're going through these tax bills, and a strategy that we might have just fixed, they might get pulled back and we have to change gears again, and we have to change it. But and that's why if you're not active or not on top of these things, you know, you might get by, but it could be better if you're looking at them or reviewing them, because it's not just for the ultra wealthy. There are things you can be doing in your own investment mix. There are things you can be doing on estate planning, just as simple as titling, college savings. There's strategies there, and there's a lot of new things that are coming out that can benefit, you know, everyone. You just have to have someone bring them to light for you, because it's hard for us to keep up. I can't imagine, you know, anybody else being able to keep up with all of it. And we're coming off of a year that is, you know, if you go back into the 2022, and I won't take up your time with stock market stuff, but it's kind of interesting to say that the bond market, it was the 1 in 90 year event for the bond market to be down double digits. So the last time that's happened is 1931, when it was down 15%. The bond market was down 13-ish%, depending on how you value it last year. The bond market is what hurt people's portfolios. The stock market was decently healthy pullback, right? But yet the stock market is the one that gets all the attention, and then people don't understand why their portfolios may not have been protected as well. You know, making sure that you understand that before you maybe knee-jerk and pull the trigger on changing your portfolio, because it was really, you don't want to sell those bonds because they'll come back.
Shifting gears a little bit, I want to talk about your team. So, you know, you said so you do have a strong team, and you've hand selected many of these people because it's a special culture that you're building there. Talk a little bit about your team, and also how that relates to how you want to continue to pragmatically build your firm into the future.
Sure. Yeah, we have. It was there for a while. It was all women, and we did finally hire a couple of guys. But we have 5 CFPs on the team, SEMA, CFAs, a couple of operations people. So we have about 10 people on the team right now, and we clear custody through Schwab. So there are kind of our partners on the backside of things, but they are very, very well hand selected, because they all have, number one, you can't be an advisor in our firm without having your CFP. And everybody that has come over to CAISSA has come from somewhere where they've had vast experience with estate planning, tax planning, and strategic planning. And so we can get that same feel from each one of us, no matter which one you're talking to. And then on the investment side of things, very similar. Everybody has, if they've come from another place, it's been on the registered investment advisory firm side, and less of the brokerage feel.
What does the next few years look like for you, for your firm?
The next few years, you know, growth. We are really trying to make sure that the word gets out of how we do and how well we do it. And as that happens, we've experienced some really good growth in the last couple of years, but we have to be slow and very cautious about it, because it takes a lot of time to onboard a client. And so we need to make sure we're methodical about who comes over, and how making sure that we can fulfill our promise that we're going to give them all of the services that we've promised them, and setting expectations up well from the start.
Yeah. All right. We talked about your business family. Let's talk about your family.
Sure.
Tell me a little bit about your family dynamic at home.
Sure. So husband, Bob, 2 kids, 2 boys, Dylan's 10, Tommy's 5, and we have a dog. She's a boxer, Charlie, and we live over in Excelsior, near Excelsior, in Shorewood. And both kids are in Spanish immersion school, so good for them. I don't know how to read their homework. Can't help.
Hence the reason they're going, and right, get them
exactly.
I think that's good.
Awesome.
How do you find that balance of running a business and being a mom?
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know, Aaron. You know, aren't we all trying to figure that out? My husband travels, so he's a medical device sales. So he travels most you know, a couple 3 days every week. So it's every day is a different struggle, right?
Yeah.
You know, bouncing from one to the other, but it's all worth it. It's all good.
Good. All right. We are going to take a quick break. We're going to hear from a few more of our community supporters, And then we're going to come back and we're going to dive into 9 questions and then figure out how people can get to know Kelly.
Listen, people, everyone needs a bank. Not just any bank, a good community bank. From personal needs like checking and savings accounts to business services like financing and M&A support, the team at Flagship Bank is there to provide you with the assistance you need so you can spend less time thinking about your finances and more time enjoying what your money can do for you. To learn more, head over to flagshipbanks.com. That's flagshipbanks with an S.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Flagship Bank, investing in you. When you think of a typical CPA firm, you probably think of tax planning. Well, that just scratches the surface of what Boulay offers their clients. By providing smart, in-depth thinking from experts in accounting, audit, tax, and business consulting, they know what it takes to achieve financial success. Whether it's protecting your business, building your wealth, or securing your future, you can count on Boulay to go beyond addressing just financial matters and providing you with tailor-made, workable solutions. Learn about all they have to offer at boulaygroup.com. Boulay, helping you get there. The topic of talent is hot in organizations of any size, and I would argue none more than small to mid-sized businesses. That's why it's crucial to have a partner to help you navigate all the HR idiosyncrasies so you can focus on working on your business and not in it. Insperity is a full-service HR partner with a high-touch, high-tech platform helping owners work through challenges like employee retention, company culture, and benefits, just to name a few. Do yourself a favor and explore all they have to offer at insperity.com. Insperity, HR that makes a difference. United Healthcare believes there's no limit to what care can do. UHC is continually focused on building a modern, high-performing health system via improved access, affordability, outcomes, and experiences. With a network of over 1.3 million care professionals and 6,500 hospitals and care facilities, United Healthcare is dedicated to connecting you to better health by offering quality benefits designed for affordability. Go to uhc.com for healthcare plans, resources, and more information. United Healthcare, helping people live healthier lives.
All right, we're back with Kelly Pedersen, and we are about to dive into 9 questions. Kelly, this is probably your favorite part of the entire show. And knowing the little bit I know about you, not being prepared for something is probably driving you a little crazy. So you bite your lip. So can you confirm to me that you have no idea what I'm about to ask you?
I have no idea. I have no idea. Which is literally one of the worst things you can provide me.
I know, that's so great. Yeah, I know. I love it. That's why I love doing what I do.
Okay.
All right. So I said I would be nice, and I'm going to follow through on my promise. Okay. Question 1. What was your favorite TV show or cartoon as a child?
As a child. Oh, so many. I don't know. The first thing that comes to mind is maybe, I know I watched the Smurfs a lot, but I don't know if it was my favorite. Yeah, probably Smurfs. I don't know.
I have a little, like, if for the people that are in video, my wife got me a little farmer Smurf for Christmas. Yeah, she found it at an antique
awesome.
store. Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. Cartoons were, you had to wake up at 6 or 7 in the morning on Saturdays to see cartoons. I had 3 channels on the farm, so we didn't have the 900 versions that my kids have.
Yeah, we didn't get cable at my house until I was probably in 11th grade, I think.
Yeah, so I don't even think I got it then. Fair enough.
I know you came from a farm upbringing, so I'm going to find this one interesting. What was your first car or farm truck?
Oh boy. Okay, so each of us kids, I can't believe I'm saying this. We had to drive a 1976 Monte Carlo. Those things are massively huge for a year. And then we could upgrade to a smaller car. But I guess if we survived that, we could get to the next level, which wasn't that much of an upgrade either, but it was not a tank. Those things are really big. But I had to take my driver's test with, those hoods are like 12, 15 feet long.
Yeah, it's one of those cars that you measure the size of it by how many bodies you can fit in the trunk, because it's that big.
Yeah, and the doors were so heavy and big.
Right. Yeah. Well, if you can park that thing, you can park anything.
Yes. But we all started driving when we were I don't know, so young, so it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah. What is one quality in a person that impresses you?
Ooh. The fine line between humility and confidence and not being overly cocky, I guess, for lack of a more refined word. Yeah. Hardworking is just my always, yeah.
Yeah. And I think there's a self-awareness that needs to happen in people that are really highly confident that they don't cross that line, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you rather be able to breathe underwater or fly?
Fly.
Fly?
Fly
That was
for
quick.
sure. Yeah. I don't like having my head underwater, so that's an easy no-brainer. I hate it. Even though I grew up on Lake Okoboji, I hate my head underwater. But flying, you can just go anywhere, see anything at any time,
Yeah.
be anywhere.
Does the ocean at all, does it, the depths of the ocean, like
I don't like
the
it.
deep depths? Yeah,
Nope.
no, nothing.
I'm okay not being there. I love like the islands, like, pretty blue water and snorkeling, but that's it. Nope. I don't need to be a part of any of the rest of it. I love traveling. Like we travel, love it, but oceans are not part of that. Cruise ships, no way. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. That's interesting. It's so funny how people are so polarized in one way or the other when it comes to that question.
Yeah. What's yours?
I'm fly too. I'm not a
Yeah.
deep water person. I like the ocean. First of all, being on a cruise ship, being stuck out there sounds miserable to me. But I think just the unknown of the deep water freaks the hell out of me. So that's a hard no on me too.
Yeah, and I've seen that movie Open Water. No, I should have never watched that. I'm done.
No, I won't. I won't watch that.
Don't watch it.
If I were to ask your best friend what you are most known for, what would that person say?
Most known for, oh my gosh, okay. High school or I don't know.
I'm good either way.
Most
You go
known
any
for?
direction.
I spreadsheet everything. It's a joke that it runs through everything. If there's a girls' trip, a dinner to be planned, it's everything. They get spreadsheets, and it's comical. It's a joke. I don't know if we're
there. You go.
Mixing cocktails that will be spreadsheeted. Yeah.
Yeah. How many? When my wife makes a drink, she gets out the little jigger thing.
Oh, for sure.
Pours exactly how. Is that how you make a cocktail? Is you're gonna?
Oh yeah, I do not. Yeah, if I have to wing it, there's no winging it. That's trouble. No.
Oh, I love it.
And if we're getting together, we may as well have everyone organized and efficient.
Heck yeah, yeah. Spreadsheets. Okay. Name one thing on your bucket list.
God, there's so many. Well, one thing, and it's maybe not mine, but it's a family bucket list that we're taking my sons, our kids, and showing them all of the Big Ten. So we grew up Big Ten state, right? So starting last year, because Dylan was 9, we are going to every single Big Ten, a football game at every Big Ten school, so we can see the stadium. But then he has to, on the way there, he has to research how much it costs, how many people go there, and then we are going to visit the student union and the business building, and he has to help find it. So it's a way for us to sneakily show him, if you get good grades, you study hard, you can go to one of these awesome schools, and we have fun doing it. So, and I just want to go to a Penn State game. So
that was my question. Okay, yeah. I love that you just said that. So what I was going to ask you, have you been to a Penn State game? Because I heard it's epic. So the answer is
that's all. It's literally the one I want to do. So I hope that happens like his senior year or something.
Yeah.
And we're big Bears fans, and I'm a big Cubs fan too. So this year we went to Northwestern and we caught a Bears game while we were there. So, if we can do an NFL game on the same weekend, that's probably what we'll do.
Is this all road trips, or do you do any flying?
Oh, we gotta fly. I am not anything over 2 hours. My husband doesn't want me. I'm on the roof. Yeah. He can deal with the kids. He can't deal with me.
Oh, I love it. This is why I do these 9 questions, is we're just getting a little insight into what makes you tick. Okay. Here's another one.
I am fun.
I know you're fun. Yeah, I heck yeah, I know you're fun.
Yeah, when you have to tell someone you're fun, you're probably not fun.
That's that's I
Right?
could go, I could go a lot of
Yeah.
different ways with that. That's hilarious.
Mhm.
Would you rather spend a week in a luxurious hotel room or camping surrounded by beautiful scenery?
And the hotel. I mean, I don't know. I need running water and a grill for my steak no, then the
No,
hotel
no
for
running
sure.
water. Well, so
Mhm.
running water, let's say it's like a running stream, and then the grill is something that, let's say you can bring a like a propane grill.
Mm-mm. I'm in the hotel for sure. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. We work hard all week. I don't want to go work harder
Yeah,
on
that's
my vacation. Yeah.
everybody's got a different perspective, and
But if I could pick up the hotel room and put it in the middle of beautiful nature and I can sit on the porch and absorb it, but then go back into my running water and comfy bed. Yes.
yeah, that
So
sounds like something in Montana that they have going on,
I'm there. I'm in then.
yeah, exactly. All right. What is the best piece of advice that you have ever received?
No, I think just the mantra, and I don't remember how it's said, but everybody knows everybody knows the saying about how you don't know what's going on in everybody else's world that day, so just be nice.
Mhm.
Type of deal. I've had situations where I was very, very sick, getting some treatments and stuff like that, and had some people not be that way to me. And so I had a different outlook on life. So, just being kind to others and trusting that and doing the right thing for other people, it'll come back. All the karma will come back.
Yeah, it does. And I think life experience plays a big role in that, right? Of being able
Yeah,
to, you've been through some
it does.
shit. So yeah, that
Yeah.
helps. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. And it was good for me because I couldn't control that, right? So it
Right.
was really good for me to just relent a little control and I lived through it.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah,
it was good.
good. All right. Question number 9.
All right.
You've survived. How do you define success?
Ooh, that's good. Another good one. True happiness, right? If you've succeeded, you're happy. You're happy with what you already have. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's your friends, your family, your love, or rich in friendship, people around you, or if you're a person, I guess, that likes things, that you're happy with what you have. I think the most sad people are people that just can't be happy in the things in their life as it is. So doesn't
Yeah.
mean you can't strive for more, but I think that's success.
Yeah. Good answer. Great job. I'll tell you, it's so great to have you on the show finally. Like I said, I was thrilled when you said that you wanted to be a member of the community, the group. I just saw Rob today,
Oh, good.
earlier today,
Yeah.
who was just, I told him that you're going to be on the podcast, and he was just raving about you and how great your group is. So more people other than the people in your group and the people in Coalition 9 need to know how to get a hold of you and need to know you. So
Sure.
if anybody wants to get a hold of you, how can they do that?
Sure. So our website out there, it's hard to spell, so I have to spell it, but it's CAISSA Wealth Strategies, and it's www.caissa.com. And then it's Kelly, my email address is the same. It's kelly@caissa.com. So CAISSA.
Yeah, and you do a pretty good job of interacting on LinkedIn, so people can reach out and connect
Right
with you on
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. And then
Yes.
I'm gonna make sure that we hot link all of those things on our show notes. So those of you that are listening to this, regardless of your platform of choice or watching this on YouTube, make sure that you go down in the show notes and click on that and reach out to Kelly and get to know her. She'd love to meet you. Kelly, thank you so much for being on the show. It means the world to me that you're a part of this. And building the Coalition 9 community with us.
Yeah, and I honestly, it's been awesome. I have loved every second of it, and I'm so thankful. So it was Melissa Johnston that introduced us to the group, and she's been just a wonderful person, a good person to know, and I'm so thankful. There's so many groups you can get into, and they don't have the depth or the goal and the right group of people, and you've put together something really special. And my group in particular, we've just really quickly bonded, and you just don't get that very often. And I think it's because of what you have really built from the top that has just seamlessly gone out to all the other groups. So I'm happy. So thank you very much for doing what you do.
Good people need to know good people. Good people first.
Yeah,
Character
right?
first, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, on behalf of Kelly Pedersen, this has been the Power of 9 podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Eggert, and I want to thank you for the privilege of your time.